Hey there, Glen Baptist Church. Just wanted to take a moment for a quick daily devotional for you. And the daily devotion today that I want to offer to you comes from the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verses 9 and 10, that says, "And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. So then, as we have opportunity, let us do good to everyone, and especially those who are of the household of faith." This passage is important right now, I think. Do not grow weary of doing good. We are in this weird coronavirus situation where we're not able to go to work, many of us. We are adjusting to things like having to do school at home with the kids and all kinds of weird things in the job that you are in. Maybe you've been let go and laid off. Maybe you've been furloughed in some way, seen reduction of hours. You may be in some kind of crazy situation. You may be sick. Don't cease to do good. Don't grow weary of doing good. A verse like this has a certain amount of meaning when things are going good. Like when things are going good, don't cease doing good. But the reality is, it's easy to do good when things are good. It gets harder to do good when things are bad. When you're worried about things, when you're stressed about things, when you don't know if you have a job or if you'll have a job next week, or concerned about whether or not you can find enough toilet paper. There are all kinds of things and stresses that come upon us that can cause us to not do good. And sometimes it can be in small ways, like we start to be selfish about things. We start to hoard product. We start to just look out for ourselves. We forget the larger view of others. Sometimes it can be in really drastic ways where really ugly parts of us start showing as we get frustrated, as we get desperate, as we get feeling like there's a dangerous situation on our doorstep. And I just want to encourage you today to not grow weary of doing good, no matter how frustrated you are, no matter how worried you get, no matter how desperate you are for certain items in your life that you feel like you can't get. Don't grow weary of doing good. It says there that in due season we will reap if we do not give up. In other words, the difficulty is temporary, right? The difficulty is temporary. This virus is only going to last so many weeks, so many months. Eventually, there will be no more coronavirus. Eventually, there will be no more danger of these massive deaths. Eventually, there's not going to be this problem anymore. Now, sure, don't get me wrong. There are going to be other problems to come. There will be other difficulties, but there won't be this difficulty anymore. And what's going to happen is, in due time, this will be seen as temporary, and you want your character to be permanent. You want your love for Jesus to be permanent. You want your love for your neighbor to be permanent as you walk through these temporary difficulties. And it says in due season, you will reap if you don't give up. In other words, you will see the fruitfulness that comes from doing good, that comes from obeying the Lord, that comes from demonstrating the love of Christ in your life. You will see the fruitfulness of that if you will stay diligent to continue to do good. Eventually, you're going to come out on the other side of this, and there's going to be a whole bunch of good stuff that comes from you being faithful to the Lord, for you continuing to look out for your neighbor, for you continuing to look out for your coworkers, for you continuing to look out for your family, for you continuing to look out for your church, for you continuing to stay in the Word and all the other things that God has given you. For you continuing to do those things, you will see a fruitfulness that will come from this temporary negative situation. You're going to see a fruitfulness that's going to be permanent in your life. So don't grow weary of doing good, for in due season you will reap if you don't give up. And it says in verse 10 there, in Galatians chapter 6, verse 10, it says, "So then, as we have opportunity, let us do good to everyone." Let's do good to everyone. Who's included in everyone? Everyone. the neighbor that you don't talk to much, the person maybe in your family that you don't get along with, the person at work that you've had some head-butting times together. Do good to everyone. Listen, this is the reality of the situation. It's hard for us to be fine. It's easier to be missional when it was easier to be missional a month ago. Right now, it's hard to be missional, right? What do I mean by being missional? I mean, actively showing the love of Christ to people, sharing the love of Christ with people, doing for others. It's harder now. Why is it harder? Well, it's harder because of what we talked about earlier, because, our own temptations to hoard, our own temptations to be unkind, our own temptations to lose our patience. But it's also harder because we just can't get face to face anymore. We can't have that community, that involvement. And so it's hard to, how do you show the love of Christ with someone and share the love of Christ with someone when you can't shake their hand? As you have the opportunity, you are going to have opportunities, even in quarantined in your home, you're going to have opportunities to share the love of Christ with people, to do good to everyone. You're going to have opportunities. Take those opportunities. You say, well, how do I do that? How about you start making a list of everyone in your life that you have contact with? Think of your neighbors. Let's just keep it around your neighborhood. Think of your neighbors around you. Do you have their phone number? Could you just send them a text and say, hey, I'm thinking about you and I'm praying for you? Get a list of people in your life that maybe are peripheral people, the everyones that you might overlook. Get those lists of people around you and be proactive about ministering to them. Say, hey, I just want to pray for you today. I have been praying for you today. How can I pray for you specifically? It's amazing what a text message out of the blue could do for someone in your life. Someone that you may not know well or may not know you well. You say, well, I don't have their phone number. I can't text them. Well, in the age of social media, maybe you send them a private message on Facebook. You look them up on Facebook and send them that private message. Say, hey, I'm praying for you right now, and I want to be able to pray for you specifically. Are you okay? Are you doing okay? Is there anything specific I can pray for you about? I might not be able to do anything for you, but I can pray for you. That could go a long way. And maybe, just maybe, you are able to do something for them. You are able to go to the store with them. Ask them, hey, can I go to the store for you? Can I get something and pick something up for you? I've got an extra roll of toilet paper back here that I could be willing to give you. Whatever it is, reach out and offer those things to people. It's important right now. So let us not grow weary of doing good. Let's not use this as an excuse to not do good. Let's not get frustrated and stop doing good. For in due season we will reap if we do not give up. This is temporary. Let's remember this is temporary, and we're going to see fruitfulness on the backside of that. And then as we have opportunity, and granted, we got to look, keep your eyes open. We got to be proactive. We have to be intentional. But as you have opportunity, do good to everyone. Don't leave anyone out. Think of everyone you can think of to find those opportunities to do good. And then it says this at the end, and especially to those who are of the household of faith. Don't forget your church right now. Your church loves you. Your church cares about you. Your pastor loves you. Your pastor cares about you. I'm praying for you. I'm going through the church rolls and just praying over your names every day. I'm thinking about opportunities that you're going to have, and I'm praying about those opportunities you're going to have to share the love of Christ with people. And I'm praying for you. And remember to especially lift up your church right now. Check on those people in your Sunday school class. Check on those people that you sit around in the worship center. Check on those people and just tell them you love them and you care about them and you're praying for them. And find out if you're able, if there's something you can do for them. Especially if there's somebody that's a senior adult or somebody that has some health issues or a unique situation where they might have trouble getting out or doing something. Check on them and just make sure they're okay. All right. So remember, do not grow weary for doing good. In due season, you'll reap, right? You'll reap if you don't give up. So then, as we have opportunity, do good to everyone and especially those of the household of faith. I hope this has encouraged you today. I'm trying to keep it under 10 minutes. I'm just going to make it. But God bless you. I love you. Thank you for letting me be your pastor. And remember, as always, wash your hands. God bless.